Welcome to Sheikh Hamdan's fans official channel, where we delve into the latest updates on Sheikh Hamdan and his family. Recently, Sheikh Hamdan's ex-wife, Hadia Zen, shared a poignant poem on her Instagram account, prompting Sheikh Hamdan to respond with a heartfelt poem of his own. Let's dive into the true feelings behind this emotional exchange. Stay connected. It began with a message that sent my heart racing. Out of the blue, my ex-wife reached out after years of silence. A simple text, "Can we talk?" The memories came flooding back, the good, the bad, and the heartbreak that led to our separation. The pain was still fresh in my mind. At first, I hesitated. Could I really open that door again? Our relationship had been a whirlwind of love, laughter, and, ultimately, pain. I had thought I'd long buried the emotions, but her message awakened something deep within me. The question echoed in my mind: could I face the ghosts of our past and confront the what-ifs that still lingered? The memories of our tumultuous past lingered, a bittersweet reminder of what could never be again. The arguments, the misunderstandings, and the tears had pushed us apart, leaving scars that still lingered. I thought I'd long moved on, but her message awakened a mix of emotions I'd tried to bury. Hope and anxiety swirled within me as I pondered the what-ifs. After days of deliberation, I agreed to meet her. We chose the cozy cafe, a place where memories of our past lingered. As I walked in, my heart skipped a beat. She sat by the window, her eyes locked on mine. Time seemed to stand still. She looked different, yet familiar, a mix of nostalgia and longing washing over me. I never expected her to reappear in my life after all these years. My ex-wife, the woman who once held my heart in her hands, now sat across from me, her eyes telling a story of their own. The same green eyes that once promised me forever now carried a hint of desperation, a longing for something lost. As I signed autographs, she waited, her intense gaze piercing through the chaos. My fans whispered among themselves, sensing the unspoken tension between us. When the crowd dissipated, she approached me, her voice trembling. "We need to talk," she said, the weight of years hanging in the air. The memories we'd both tried to bury came flooding back, the arguments, the betrayal, the divorce that shattered us both. She didn't want to rekindle our romance, but to reconnect, to find solace in a bond we once shared. Her life had been a roller coaster of failed relationships, career setbacks, and crippling loneliness. Now, she stood before me, hoping I'd be her lifeline. But could I trust her? Could I forgive the tears, the fights, and the trust she'd shattered? My heart wrestled with anger and a lingering affection, a confusing mix of emotions. That night, we met at a quiet cafe, a neutral ground where secrets could be shared. "I've made mistakes," she whispered, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup. I remembered our turbulent past, the arguments, the tears, and the moment our marriage crumbled. She'd left me when my career was taking off, claiming I was becoming someone she didn't recognize. Now, ironically, she wanted back into my successful world. "Why now?" I asked, my voice sharp with years of unresolved pain. Her eyes brimmed with tears as she revealed her struggles, a failing business, personal losses, and deep regret over leaving me when I needed her most. In the dimly lit cafe, my ex-wife's words cut through our past, reopening old wounds. Her genuine vulnerability was a side my fans had never seen. Every sentence was a revelation, a plea for reconnection. I listened, my heart torn between remembering pain and lingering compassion. My successful career, built after her departure, stood as silent testimony to my resilience. But my fans didn't know the broken man I once was. "What do you really want?" I asked, my voice carrying the weight of our complicated past. She reached across the table, her hand almost touching mine. "A chance," she said, "not as your wife, but as someone who genuinely wants to make things right." The ambient music seemed to pause, waiting for my response. One decision could rewrite our entire narrative. Our conversation started awkwardly, exchanging pleasantries and reminiscing about the good times. There was laughter, but beneath it lay an unspoken tension. I saw hesitation in her eyes, as if she was scared to bring up the past. Eventually, she took a deep breath and opened up about her feelings. "I've missed you," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I've thought about us a lot since we parted ways." Her words sent a rush of emotions through me. I had missed her too, but the pain of our breakup still lingered. As we talked, I saw glimpses of the woman I once loved, the one who made me laugh until my stomach hurt. But I also saw the scars from our past, the weight of unresolved feelings hanging in the air. I had built a life for myself after the heartbreak, and now she was asking to step back in. The conversation became more intense, discussing our struggles, growth, and the lessons we learned while apart. I realized that both of us had changed, yet there was still that undeniable connection. She shared her hopes for the future, and I couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope ignite within me. Then came the moment that turned everything upside down. She reached across the table, her hand brushing against mine. "I want to try again," she said, her eyes pleading for a chance. "I want to be part of your life once more." My heart raced. It was a bold request, one that would require me to confront my past and reconsider our future. As I gazed into her eyes, her words hung in the air like a promise. "I want to be part of your life again." My heart swelled with a mix of emotions, excitement, fear, and a hint of hope. Could we really rebuild our relationship from the ashes of our past? The memories, the laughter, the love, and the heartache all flooded my mind. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but perhaps, just maybe, it was worth a shot. As we sat there, I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. The road ahead would be filled with challenges, but also with possibilities. I took a deep breath and said, "Let's take it one step at a time." And so, our journey began. With each passing day, I found myself navigating this new chapter with a blend of hope and caution. Each time we met, the bond between us seemed to grow stronger, yet the shadows of our past loomed over our interactions. We laughed about old memories and shared stories about our lives during the time apart, but underlying every conversation was the awareness that trust had to be rebuilt. We decided to take things slow, starting with casual outings, dinner dates, walks in the park, and movie nights. Each encounter brought back familiar feelings, but they also sparked new ones. I started to see her not just as my ex-wife, but as someone who had changed and grown. She was more introspective, more open about her emotions, and that intrigued me. One evening, as we strolled through the park, she stopped and turned to me, her expression serious. "I know it's a lot to ask, but I really want to be part of your life again," she said, her voice steady yet filled with vulnerability. "I've realized how important you are to me, and I'm ready to make things right." My heart raced at her words. I could feel the sincerity in her eyes, but I couldn't ignore the lingering doubts. "I want that too," I replied, "but we need to address the issues that tore us apart before." "It won't be easy," she nodded, acknowledging the truth of my words. That night marked the turning point in our relationship. We sat down together, sharing our fears and insecurities. We talked about the mistakes we made and how we could avoid repeating them. It felt cathartic to lay everything out on the table, and as we did, I realized how much I had missed this kind of honesty. As we continued to reconnect, we also began to create new memories. We explored new places together, tried new activities, and even started to rebuild our life as a team. The future suddenly felt bright, filled with possibilities and promise. As we took a weekend trip to the beach, each experience brought us closer, and I felt the walls I had built around my heart starting to crumble. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. But not every moment was filled with joy. There were times when the past resurfaced, moments of jealousy, insecurity, and fear. One night, during a seemingly perfect dinner, I noticed she was distracted and lost. When I asked her what was wrong, she hesitated, then finally admitted her truth. Her honesty pierced through the moment, and I felt a wave of empathy for her. I reached across the table, holding her hand firmly. "I'm trying to forgive, but we both need to be patient with ourselves. I still care about you deeply, but it will take time to heal completely." That conversation became a turning point in our journey. We both acknowledged that while the road ahead would be challenging, we were committed to walking it together. It was a promise of mutual support and understanding, a vow to face the highs and lows as a team. As time went on, the flame we once shared rekindled, and the laughter came back. But I also continued to be watchful, knowing that our road was still precarious. One day, while we were preparing dinner together, I noticed her smile, infectious, lighting up the kitchen. "I've been thinking about how far we've come," she said, stirring the pot on the stove. "It feels good, doesn't it?" I nodded, a grin spreading across my face. It does. I never thought we'd be here again, but it feels like we're finally on the right path. But just as I started to feel secure in our new dynamic, a message popped up on my phone. It was from a friend who was unaware of our renewed relationship, and it brought news that made my heart sink. They mentioned seeing her with someone else, a casual mention, but it hit me hard. I tried to push the thought away, but the doubt crept in. That night, as we lay in bed together, I couldn't shake the feeling of insecurity. I turned to her, hesitating before I spoke. I heard something today, and I just need to know, is there someone else? Her expression shifted, and I could see the surprise and hurt in her eyes. No, there's no one else. I've been focused on us. Why would you think that? I explained the message, and she took a deep breath, reaching out to touch my face gently. You need to trust me. I'm here because I want to be with you, not anyone else. Let's not let rumors tear us apart again. Her words calmed my racing heart, and I realized that I needed to let go of my fears. It was time to embrace the present and trust in the connection we were building. As the weeks continued to unfold, we both learned the importance of communication and vulnerability. The emotional roller coaster of rekindling our relationship brought us closer, teaching us how to support and uplift one another. I began to see my ex-wife not just as a part of my past but as a significant part of my future. Together, we were weaving a new story, one that was filled with hope, understanding,